We've seen some flooding, but never like this.
Looks like a river.
That rain is coming down very heavy at times.
Do not drive tonight.
And I knew that if I took a step, my life was in jeopardy.
Some residents that saved a couple of people that went in.
The fire department said, if you don't have to go out tonight, don't.
Look at this standstill traffic we are seeing on Highway 14.
Warning in effect for western Dane County.
The City of Madison Fire Department Lake Rescue Team says they have recovered the body of a missing man.
This is News 3 at 6.
Good evening. A state of emergency is in place for Dane County following record-breaking rainfall. The National Weather Service estimates around 13 inches of rain fell in the western part of the county last night and into today. One life has been lost. Entire neighborhoods are flooded. It could be days before we know the complete extent of the damage done. We have live team coverage throughout Dane County tonight. Our crews are in Mazo-Maney, Madison, and Middleton. We head out to Keeley Arthur in Mazo right now, where the water rescues are ongoing. Keeley?
Eric, this is one of the areas hardest hit by that historic flooding, where there are unofficial reports of up to 16 inches of rain here in downtown Mazo-Maney. As you can see, a day later, still very severe flooding. Lots of crews trying to get to these residents. Now, earlier, we caught video of the Dane County Sheriff's airboat. Let's take that video. That boat, along with two others, working around the clock to reach the people trapped by this flood. Dane County Emergency Management confirms that they've reached 80% of the homes, but they're still trying to rescue more people. Now, anyone displaced because of yesterday's flooding is asked to go to the Mazo-Maney Elementary School. They can get shelter and food and all the help that they need there. Eric, we are going to be here tonight with those people, and we will bring you the latest on the web and on News 3 at 10. Back to you.
And Keeley Arthur live at Mazo-Maney tonight. Keeley, thank you. Now, the Madison mayor says there's about $250,000 in damages in the city of Madison, but that number could go up to the millions in the coming weeks. Mayor Paul Soglin said this permanently damaged some roads and buildings. The city now working on getting stranded cars out of the middle of roadways. The flooding also forcing people out of two apartment complexes on the city's west side. There are 3 Red Cross shelters now available for anyone displaced by the flooding. One at Madison West High School, Glacier Creek Middle School in Cross Plains, and at Mazo-Maney Elementary School. It is hit or miss what roads are open in Dane County right now. We know that some communities are still seeing the threat of rising water. Dane County officials monitoring the Sugar River as it runs between Paoli and into Belleville. So far, no evacuations are in order. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now with a first alert traffic and weather update. Gary?
Hey, Eric, the rain last night was historic. The western portion of Dane County was just pretty much ground zero for this heavy rain event. Many locations picking up between 10 and 15 inches of rain. A flood warning remains in effect for the western portion of Dane County through 6 a.m. tomorrow. Rainfall amounts of 5 to 15 inches or more, basically from Madison and Fitchburg westward to Mount Horeb, as far north as Sauk City and Prairie du Sac, and southward to just to the west of Belleville. But if we take a look at current Doppler track, there were a few light showers in southeastern Wisconsin. Those have moved into northern Illinois and are ending. Temperatures right now, upper 60s to around 70. The atmosphere a little bit more stable, so we're not seeing any more showers develop. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the mid-70s. We'll see plenty of sunshine, and that should start drying us out. As we take a look at first alert traffic, you can see the Beltline moving pretty steadily northbound at Gammon Road. But as we take a look at some areas that are closed, basically U.S. Highway 14 from the Beltline through Mazo-Maney and then westward to Spring Green closed because of flooding. Use Wisconsin Highway 60 as an alternate. Also Highway 69 south and northbound between 18151 and Highway PB in Paoli closed. Use Highway PB as an alternate. That is your first alert traffic.
Gary, thank you. And an autopsy is underway for a man found dead this morning in floodwaters on Madison's west side. First responders spent more than 12 hours searching for him. News 3's Adam Duxter joins us now from the park where that man was found. Adam?
Eric, fire officials say it was a wrong turn down this bike path that led a car all the way into this creek where it was submerged in floodwaters. 3 people in the vehicle, one of them eventually drowning. Today I caught up with the fire officials who made that rescue, also neighbors who were close by at the time.
Madison Alder Matt Fair was walking through his neighborhood last night when he and his wife spotted a car trapped in a culvert underneath rushing water. Inside the car, 3 people. Fair says what he did next is nothing special.
First of all, anyone can do this, and I'm not a hero. People are already telling me I'm a hero, and I just did what I think most people would do.
With help from other bystanders, he pulled 2 of the car's passengers onto dry land. As for the driver,
we were both holding on to him as hard as we could. The water was overwhelming, and I knew that if I took a step, my life was in jeopardy too. So we lost him, but that's what happened.
For Madison's first responders, what started as a rescue mission turned quickly into a recovery effort. And even for the most seasoned Madison firefighters, this was uncharted territory.
I don't remember seeing anything like this in my career. I've been 25 plus years.
Firefighters worked throughout the night to find the body of the man driving, working through constant downpours, eventually finding him a third of a mile away after 13 hours of searching.
But obviously the large expanse here and how much water there was, it was kind of hard to pinpoint.
And for Fair, who is also the alder for this neighborhood, he says this serves as a reminder.
You know, I think it's a good reminder as neighbors and as citizens that we just always have to be out and paying attention and checking on people and, you know, helping each other.
Now, Madison fire officials saying this is the first flooding-related death they can remember in quite some time. Now, as for what we know about the man who drowned, well, we do know he was 70 years old and he was in the car with his brother-in-law and his girlfriend. They were coming back from being out to eat, but again, that car into this culvert here along Green Tree Park and Madison's west side. As we continue to learn more about this man, we'll update the story. You can get all the latest facts on our website, channel3000.com.
Such a sad story. Adam Duxer reporting on the west side of Madison. Adam, thank you. A Georgia couple won't soon forget their trip to Wisconsin. They were among hundreds of people stranded in Middleton today because of the high water. Delise and Paul Knight talked to us via video chat this morning from the Hilton Garden Inn on Deming Way at Greenway Station. While they're looking at damage from major flooding last night, Delise described watching the water rise and eventually come into the hotel as the power went out.
For us, what was going through our mind is just making sure that everybody else was safe, that everybody was comfortable, and just helping the hotel staff as much as we could. I mean, they were at their wits' end trying to secure all of the openings throughout, not to get any more water inside, and to make sure everybody was all right.
We spoke tonight to the hotel staff there who say the hotel is open and taking guests, but they are still working to repair their computer systems and first floor areas that were damaged by all the water. Middleton businesses damaged by the flooding have until tomorrow at noon to send in damage assessment forms. Several streets and trails are still closed from the floodwaters. The Middleton portion of Highway 14 is closed from the Beltline to Pleasant View Road. Rose Schmidt joins us live from Greenway Boulevard to show us some of the standing water. Rose?
Well, Eric, it really feels like we have seen it all today. Cars driving down this sidewalk, cars driving the wrong way down this road here, children playing in these floodwaters. Of course, all things that police say you should not do. Now, the city wants to remind everybody that these floodwaters could be considered contaminated, and of course, there's going to be a lot of work to clean them up.
Water chaos, water everywhere, more than we ever thought.
You could say this has been an eventful and wet day in Middleton.
We knew there was going to be rain, but not 14, 15 inches.
Well, it was up to my chest in my car, and when I got out, it was up to my waist, so.
Hannah Eddington was on her way to work Tuesday night when her car got stuck on Greenway Boulevard. Luckily, she was mere feet away from a hotel.
Well, first I went to the Fairfield, and I stayed there overnight, and tow trucks were here all morning, so they've been pulling cars out left and right.
Several hotels took in guests they weren't expecting, and even businesses had no vacancies. Employees and customers slept at Costco overnight, and now crews are left to help the store dry out.
What's really cool is how people are stepping up and helping each other.
Lifelong friends Debbie and Linda were in town from the Appleton area to hit the links.
Needless to say, our golf weekend is kind of changed.
Yeah,
our plans have changed.
They're now stuck in their hotel without power.
A lot of things were happening at the same time. It reminded me of a tabletop exercise where they just kept throwing more things at you.
Middleton Police Chief Charles Falk says the city's infrastructure wasn't built to handle this much water.
The area of Middleton that was hit hardest was the area west of University Avenue, Parmenter Street, and those areas still have a lot of standing water.
Luckily, the people stranded in those areas now are on their way home. knowing things could have been much worse.
We're very fortunate and very, very grateful for that. But I feel for those individuals who are, businesses are closed, cars are being impacted, and who knows what else.
And Greenway Boulevard here is still closed from this floodwater, even though we have seen dozens of cars drive down it today. Now, the city of Middleton is asking anybody in this area to report missing manhole covers or tell them if there's water over the roads or, of course, in your homes. Back to you, Eric.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting near Greenway Station in Middleton. Rose, thank you. Pheasant Branch Conservancy also seeing an awful lot of damage. The police chief of Middleton says to him this was one of the most devastating parts of the flooding in Middleton. There are downed trees, and the flooded section of green space there is pretty sizable. A bridge on one of the trails was also damaged. The Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center also preparing to see an increase of wild animals. In Black Earth, the popular shoe store there hit by flooding waters. The shoe box was closed as they spent the day trying to dry out. Fans filled the building. Shoes were left to dry out, but many of those shoe boxes were simply put in bags to be tossed out. Owner Steve Schmidt says he's never seen anything like it in the 50 years he's been in business.
I've been here since May of '86. I've never seen anything like this. This is brutal, and I'm all right. There's people in Black Earth that are going to lose their walls, their basements, and Mazo too. So we'll survive. We'll be all right tomorrow. It'll be a tough day today, but we'll get through it.
And just up the road in Cross Plains, News 3 viewer Mark Strait gave us this video he shot overnight. You can see the car dealership there along the Black Earth Creek took on feet of water. Most residents living along there were forced to camp out in their cars away from their homes. There are a little more than 300 Madison Gas and Electric customers still without power at this hour. That was at nearly 4,000 at the height of the storm. Most of the outage areas are in Madison, Cross Plains, and the Middleton areas. Right now it is unclear when full service will be restored to everyone. Homeowners who are experiencing flooding are being asked to contact the United Way's 211 line to report their damages. That information will then be collected by Dane County Emergency Management. Businesses who have flood damage can can contact Madison building inspectors. Our coverage of the flooding in Dane County just getting started. After the break, we will share some of the good to come about during this disaster. Stay with us. And we do have some breaking news. The governor, Scott Walker, has just declared a state of emergency within the past few minutes. But through this dark time, we are hearing stories of triumph through tragedy. Jamie Perez reports.
We're hearing sounds today that we couldn't hear yesterday. While the storm drains work overtime, the water that once flooded these streets recedes, leaving many people like Barb Olson with a mess to clean up.
Well, the rain gauge holds 5 inches, but it overflowed.
Never before seen flooding, and never before has she had to care for numerous people stranded in front of her home.
They could not go any further. They were stalled. They had to have help to get out of their cars. The road was flooded with water up to their door handles on their cars.
She housed several groups of people for several hours last night.
5 people, a dog, a baby. I think I've lost count.
Some with medical conditions that couldn't wait for the floodwaters to drain.
It was very wet and cold and diabetic. She needed some nourishment. And so we helped her out. She revived, and then my husband walked her home very late last night.
Barb managed to care for others, all while trying to figure out how to get her own home out of the floodwaters.
Went around the house. It was like 2 rivers on either side of the house, and then it went into the garage.
Her home is recovering, and the people she cared for doing okay too, thanks to her.
There were all sorts of people out here, and they're all okay now.
While Barb had minimal damage after the water levels dropped in her home, it's a day she will never forget.
And we've seen some flooding, but never like this.
In Madison, Jamie Perez, WISC, News 3.
And the floodwaters were felt near and far. Barb's sister lives in Black Earth and tells us she came home last night to a flooded basement and 14.5 inches of rain. You can stay safe and informed with News 3 by downloading our Channel 3000 weather app. Gary is back after the break with our complete first alert forecast. Stay with us.
After a wild night of weather last night, things much calmer today. Lots of clouds, but not much in the way of precipitation, which is good news. Take a look at some of these rain totals. They are just unbelievable. Over 15 inches in Cross Plains, over 11.5 in Middleton. Verona, about 11 inches on the north side. Shorewood Hills, just shy of 10 inches. Mount Horeb, 6 2/3. And the official total for Madison, the Dane County Regional Airport, just shy of 4 inches. But that broke the record for yesterday by over 2 inches. Flood warning remains in effect for western and central Dane County until 6 a.m. That's just for the water that's standing around. The heaviest totals of rain appear to have fallen from the west side of Madison and near Middleton, all the way up to Mazomanie, Black Earth, and just south of Highway 12, and then also another little area north and east of Mount Horeb, but many locations in the 6 to 10 inch range in that area, even as far south as almost the northern portion of Greene County and as far north as Prairie du Sac. But on Doppler track, you can see things very quiet now. Just a few sprinkles of rain to southeastern Wisconsin into northeastern Illinois. The rest of the state looking dry. Now, more thunderstorms will start developing out to our west by Thursday. Already a severe weather threat into parts of Minnesota and Iowa. We'll have to watch that as it moves eastward into Wisconsin for Friday night or Thursday night into Friday. Precipitation potential from the U.S. GFS computer model. Not much expected before early Friday morning when some showers and thunderstorms start to arrive. That first batch on Friday probably bringing us anywhere between about ½ inch and an inch of rain generally. And then another chance for showers and thunderstorms over the weekend, maybe bringing us a little bit more. And then another round of heavier showers and thunderstorm chances from Tuesday night into Wednesday. And that could bring another inch of rain, but there could also be some heavier amounts embedded in there. So we'll just have to keep a very close eye on the situation. Hopefully it won't fall on the areas that have already received the excessive amounts of rainfall. On visible cloud track, you can see the clouds starting to clear up to our north and west, and we'll see clear skies later on tonight. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Plenty of clouds, but that's actually keeping the temperatures down. The almanac for today shows our high temperature only hit 74, the lows at 62, and right now we're at 67 degrees with a northwesterly wind at 9. The dew point temperature still at 62, but that will come down over the next few hours. 53 for the overnight low temperature. If there's an evening shower out there, it'll end early, then it'll turn clear and cooler overnight. Tomorrow's high at 75 under mostly sunny skies. As we look at future track, look for everything to clear out overnight. Low temperatures dropping into the lower 50s. High temperatures tomorrow climbing into the mid 70s. Notice the absence of clouds and no rain. That is good news. 54 for the low tomorrow night, and then up to the mid to upper 70s on Thursday. 7 to 10 day forecast. Those temperatures start warming up after showers and thunderstorms move through Thursday night into Friday. In fact, we're in the mid to upper 80s for much of next week with some periodic thunderstorm chances as well.
So if you're the Packers, do you keep 2 or 3 quarterbacks on the opening day roster? We'll hear what General Manager Brian Gutekunst thinks in sports. The Packers play in Oakland Friday night in their third preseason game. It'll be a late kickoff, 9:30 Madison time. Now, the Packers finally set their 53-man roster for the regular season. The big question is, will they have 2 or 3 quarterbacks? Aaron Rodgers is one, but the battle between Brett Hundley, whose contract runs out after this year, and Deshaun Kaiser, whom the Packers traded for, and free agent Tim Boyle rages on. So do you keep 2 or 3?
I think you look at it, it's more of a team perspective, and you're trying to do the best thing for the team, you know, and you know, I come from a school where quarterback's pretty important, and if you have guys that can play, you want to try to keep as many as you can and continue to develop them. Mike's staff has done such a good job developing quarterbacks since I've been here that if we have guys that can play, we certainly want to keep them around.
Badgers head football coach Paul Chryst was going to address the media today just afternoon, but that media session was postponed. The announcement said they were still gathering information on the developing situations with wide receivers Quintez Cephas and Danny Davis. 5 Badgers named to the Associated Press preseason All-America teams today. Jonathan Taylor, Bo Benshaw, and T.J. Edwards are first-teamers. David Edwards and Michael Dieter on the second team. Wisconsin and Clemson had the most first-team picks with 3. Wisconsin and Alabama had the most overall selections with 5. Only 10 more days until all the talk and hype gets its first test in the season opener a week from Friday. It's been said this could be the most productive offense in Wisconsin history because almost everyone returns from last season. But camp had its share of injuries at the offensive line and tight end Xander Neville, among others.
You know, guy missing here, guy missing there. Z's been out. You know what I mean? Different linemen been out. So getting them all together, I think we still gotta get there yet. But being able to introduce some things that later on down the line, that it's not the first time they heard it, that's been pretty nice.
The Badger men's basketball schedule out for the 2018-19 Big Ten season. The first game is an exhibition game against the UW-Oshkosh at the Kohl Center November 2nd. The first Big Ten game is at Iowa November 30th. The first Big Ten home game against Rutgers Monday, December 3rd. They have 15 home games. 2 are on Monday, 3 are on Tuesday, 3 are on Thursday, 2 are on Friday, and 5 are on Saturday. And the Prep Mania game of the week heads to Verona this Friday night. The Wildcats host Middleton in a Big 8 conference football matchup. Bill Brophy, Alan Minner will join me for the game live on TVW, channel3000.com, Friday night at 7. Hopefully Curtis Jones Field is drying as we speak.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of fields out there are going to be...
It depends on how much water they took, but the good news is the next couple of days should be dry. Temperatures right now pretty comfortable in the upper 60s to around 70. The rain is ending, and the 7-day forecast, dry weather Wednesday and Thursday, but more showers and storms Friday, then very warm for much of next week.
We'll have more updates tonight on News 3 at 10. Thanks for joining us.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.